Is it time for lockdown rebellion? The coronavirus. First of all, I want to say I'm not a coronavirus denier. My daughter works as a care worker. She's in the front line. She is putting her life at risk to care for her clients on a daily basis. So I'm not one of these people that is saying that this virus doesn't exist because I've actually experienced the virus or something that was very similar to it. If it wasn't it, then it did a very good impersonation of it. And I know it knocked me for the best part of a month, not 7 days, but the best part of a month. So I'm not denying that there is this vile, terrible disease that China has inflicted on the world's population. But what I do have a huge problem with is the increasingly fascist behaviour of the government and the increasingly totalitarian behaviour of the government, telling us that unless we toe the line, then the powers the police have got already would break just about every single Western human rights law there is, without a shadow of a doubt. And the British public have behaved extremely well on the whole. I'm looking through the Daily Mail, and the way the media has behaved in this is absolutely reprehensible. And I keep coming back to Piers Morgan. The panicking Piers Morgan. I believe the panicking Piers Morgan has more to do with this lockdown than the chief scientific advisors in the country. I really do, because what the government do is that they're dancing to the tune of the mainstream media, as they always do, and they need to start realising that most people don't pay 2 bits of notice to the mainstream media. In fact, a recent poll showed that Piers Morgan is one of the least trusted people in the country. Panicking Piers. And that's quite right, because of what he did to those soldiers in the Queen's Lancashire Regiment way back in the invasion of Iraq in the early 2000s was reprehensible. So he can't be trusted, and Piers Morgan shouldn't be trusted. But the way the media are reporting on people, I mean, there's a headline in the Daily Mail here, or a caption in the Daily Mail that says, "People continue to flout lockdown rules today as they headed out to Hyde Park. This woman read a book in the sunshine." What a heinous crime! She read a book in the sunshine. 1 million English girls have been raped in the last 30 years by racist rape gangs. But this woman read a book in the sunshine. And for that, she should be taken out and flogged and beaten. That's the implication from the Daily Mail, calling people COVID-idiots. The reality is, and I'm not pretending to be an expert in any medical matter whatsoever other than experiencing this pretty unpleasant virus. But from what I can read, exercise, sunlight, not being depressed are the best things, not being stressed, are the best remedies or the best boosters to the immune system. We keep getting told that vitamin D is vital in the fight against coronavirus because it prevents respiratory disease. And what produces vitamin C? Vitamin D? Sunlight. You get out in the sun, you get out for your exercise, you sit in the sun, and your immune system is going to be boosted. So my question, and I'm not suggesting that we start having mass parties and barbecues and all the rest of it. I'm not suggesting we do any of that. But surely people can sit in the sun. Now, you imagine if you're in a high-rise flat in London. I've got the luxury of having a garden that I can sit in. I've got the luxury of being able to sit in the sun in my front garden or in my back garden. But a lot of people don't have that. And the only place that they can get to sit in the sun is in a park. So since when did reading a book in the sun in England become a crime? And apparently Priti Patel is going to put out a press conference later on today telling people they've got to obey the rules or the police are going to get more draconian. If the police get more draconian, then it's going to be time for a lockdown rebellion. It's going to be time for people to say, enough is enough. We're not going to put up with living under fascism anymore because of a virus. We've given up enough of our civil liberties. And I'm not suggesting that people don't social distance. I think social distancing is a good idea. I think fighting against the virus is a good idea. But if you start going against the British public and start dictating to people that they can't do this and they can't do that, you will lose the support of the vast majority of the British people. And quite rightly so. Because already we've had this virus inflicted on us by the globalists, the very people that are running our country. We've had this virus inflicted upon us by the globalists because they're more interested in doing deals with China than calling China to account for its crimes. And that's another thing, that's for another video and for another day. But if it wasn't for globalism, we would not have this problem. If it wasn't for relying on Chinese manufacturing and Chinese goods, we would not have this problem. If it wasn't for open borders, we would not have this problem. If it wasn't for the airports and the ports being open, we wouldn't have had this problem. Now I know I'm not stupid. I know we need to do business. We need to bring goods in. We need to even bring people in. But as soon as this virus hit, if the borders had been completely closed, we would not be sitting in the problem we're in now. Or even if proper quarantining had happened to people coming into the country from Italy. These people that went out to Italy on their holidays and came back and didn't isolate themselves properly. It's not their fault, it's the government's fault. The government didn't tell them what to do and didn't enforce it. But the reality is that we've had this virus inflicted upon us. We've had a complete smashing of our economic system. As a result of this, me and millions of other people in this country will more than likely lose our livelihoods, more than likely lose good businesses that we did business with and that we had ourselves as a result of this virus. And then to add insult to injury, the house arrest, they're threatening to make the house arrest even stricter. Now to me, I can't see what's wrong with people going into the countryside and walking in the countryside in isolated locations, finding little isolated beaches and going to the seaside. What's wrong with that? Why is that now a criminal offence? And I'm not suggesting that people break the law, because I don't think these laws even exist. And I think they could be very, very rightly challenged. In Northern Ireland, the chief constable suddenly decided to make up a new law that you couldn't drive to a location to take exercise. Totally going against what the British government said. And that's now been challenged in the High Court, I believe, in Northern Ireland, that some brave soul has taken a case and is fighting against this lunacy of the lockdown. So I'm going to ask a question again. Is it time for a lockdown rebellion? Should we start, and again, I'm not suggesting that people stop social distancing, because that obviously works and the science backs that up, but should people start rebelling against these ludicrous, draconian laws that do not benefit anybody and are actually not going to stop the spread? Because the reality is, if you're keeping people in cities to do their exercise and in crowded areas, when I go out for a walk in my local area, it's very, very difficult to avoid people. I'm far better getting in a car, going somewhere that I know will be isolated, and walking and having my exercise there. And the next thing is we need to get the economy going. The next thing is we need to start caring for our families. My mother-in-law is over 80 and she's been in isolation on her own, with one person from the family going to see her to take her food for goodness knows how long now. She doesn't have social media. She is hearing impaired, so she can't talk on the phone. The only contact that she has with the family is one person from that family going and meeting her. And then we look at the economic damage. The economic damage is catastrophic. Hairdressers, pubs, restaurants, all closed. And I hope that there is some way that we can get compensation from the Chinese, that we can get billions and billions of pounds for the compensation. But the way things are going with these schemes, will the people, the small businesses, the micro businesses, the hairdressers, the pubs, the restaurants that literally live hand to mouth, that are going to go under, will they get any compensation? Very, very unlikely. And what will happen is the big money people, the Chinese, the Arabs, will come in, and all the billionaires, all the the friends of Blair and the friends of Cameron and the friends of George Osborne, they will all come in and they will buy all the assets of businesses that are perfectly viable but have gone bankrupt because of the coronavirus. So I'm just going to ask the question, is it time for a lockdown rebellion? Is it time to start flouting ludicrous draconian laws that make no sense whatsoever? Is it time for a lockdown rebellion? See you all soon.